2024 Board of Douglas County Commissioners 5:30 business meeting. There are paper copies of the agenda by the front door if you'd like one, and the full packet is available on our website. So we'll have a fairly short meeting tonight. We have a consent agenda of 5 items. We will have general public comment after that, and then we do not have anything on our regular agenda for today. Within general public comment, we have a recent Kansas federal court decision. It's provided some clarity regarding standards for public comment, so we've updated our process accordingly. We'll do our best to enforce rules consistently without regard to the point of view expressed by the speaker. Each speaker will be limited to a total of 3 minutes speaking time. However, we always accept public comment in any length in writing. Individual speakers may not donate unused time to other speakers. All comments and topics must address topics within the jurisdiction of the County Commission and be addressed to us. We also maintain the decorum of our meeting. Therefore, we prohibit public comments that are threatening, aggressively hostile, or belligerent, fighting words, slander, or speech that invades the privacy of individuals, unreasonably loud, disruptive, or repetitive, or that interrupt or substantially interfere with the board's ability to conduct county business. And we do reserve the right to mute or remove any speaker who violates these public comment rules. So if you give public comment, please give your full name and address for the meeting minutes and address your comments to the commission. Please know that comments received by the commission during our meetings do not necessarily represent the views of Douglas County government, but we value the input. We don't usually respond to general public comment on the spot, but if you leave contact information with county staff, we will try and get specific questions answered. Then we'll have what we have for our regular agenda, appointments, commissioner miscellaneous, and then we will move on from there. So a recording of this meeting will be available on the county's YouTube page and website. So with that, commissioners, we did have a work session earlier today at 4 o'clock on an update for specialty courts. So I encourage everyone who wasn't here for that to watch that online. It was very informative for us. And with that, I would ask for commissioners, are there any items from the consent agenda that you would care to pull for further conversation? No. Is there anyone in the public who would like to pull an item from consent agenda for further conversation? Seeing none, is there anyone online, Sarah? Okay, with that, I would entertain a motion.
Commissioner Reed, move to approve consent agenda items 1.1 through 1.5.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's approved, thank you. So for that, do we have anyone signed up yet on the list, Sarah, that you know of? Okay, is there anyone in the room who would like to give public comment?
My name is Dr. Justin Spees. A few weeks ago at this meeting during general public comment, someone said of Commissioner Karen Wiley, Karen, I want to begin by saying I appreciate your stoic demeanor and that you give the impression that you're really listening to us, and I appreciate that to no end. This commission allowed that speaker to say that without interruption or muting the podium microphone. After her, I spoke and said the words out loud that are on my sign, and you all muted the microphone here and prevented me from speaking any further. In previous meetings, speakers have heaped praise on the commission without being silenced, and without fear of being silenced by the commission. They were free to say things like, quote, I want to thank your tireless efforts in keeping your patience. I want to thank you all for your public service, and I really appreciate all the work you have done to keep the county safe. I greatly respect the guidance the commission has given, unquote. Those statements speak favorably to your character as commissioners, and they paint you all in a positive light. But I can't say women have more balls than Patrick too. Why? Why are certain things said about you allowed, but other things said about you aren't allowed? At another previous meeting, Michael Irby said, Patrick, you sure are a pussy. And Karen Wiley, you interrupted him saying, quote, Michael, we'd love to have you address us on anything of issue, but you'll have to manage your aggressive language, unquote. Michael then informs you all that Cohen versus California says we can say fuck, to which you, Karen, said, quote, it's not the words, unquote, and then you shut off his microphone. Well, what is it then? If it's not the words, what is it then? You say he needs to manage his language in one sentence, but then in your very next breath, you say you're not censoring him because of his words. How are language and words not the same thing? How does someone manage their language without changing their words? And so if they have to change their words in order to be allowed to speak, then it's not free speech. A few minutes later, I come up to speak and say, yes, Patrick, you are far, far below being a real man. To which you, Karen, interrupted me saying, quote, I'm afraid we're not going to allow personal insults, but you certainly can make any comments you like, unquote. How is that not based on the content of my speech? How is that not viewpoint discrimination? How does that not violate your rule that you read just now at the beginning of each meeting when you say, quote, "We do our best to enforce rules consistently and without regard to the point of view expressed by the speaker," unquote? How are you not violating your own rule and the Constitution? I'll wait.
Do we have anyone else who'd like to give public comment?
I still got a little time there, Karen. Why are you interrupting my time? She didn't raise a sign that said, "Please stop."
Do we have anyone else who'd like to give public comment?
Why is it just him? Why is it that when I showed up, all the shenanigans and bullshit stopped? Over at the courthouse, you guys used to grab him because he caught a sign in. The sheriff even threw the sign once in a violent and aggressive manner, and you did nothing about that. I show up, Deputy Steele comes to try to take his sign one day, and Jill Jolicoeur waves him off all of a sudden because I'm behind him with a camera. Why is it him until I show up with another camera? You guys ruined the fucking man's life just by not letting him speak. Ridiculed him, made him a pariah of the area, turned your deputies loose on him, your little Gestapo thugs, because that's what's going on. I just had a conversation back here where the captain, I think he's a captain, says that if you say that we're disrupting and remove us from the room, he's just gonna do it. I just hopefully educated him on what the actual statute says, and I know the reporter over here doesn't give a shit what the statute says because he's just carrying your water too. But there's nowhere in that statute that any of this met the requirements. And now the city's trying the same shit. And I can't get an answer over there as to why we're trying this bullshit, why we're doing this. If you guys can just answer that we're done arresting people over their speech or over their signs, I could be done and you can have your 3 minutes back each week. How much time do I have left? I'm asking how much time I have left. Okay, we'll see if Karen Willie can stay quiet for 1:10. So once again, it's just him that you interrupt? Your bias shows through, Karen.
Is there anyone else who'd like to give public comment? Sarah, do we have anyone online? Okay, that will close public comment. We have no regular agenda items today. Do we have any appointments?
I don't believe so that I'm aware of, commissioners.
Okay, Sarah, would you care to get to your memo?
Yeah. Attached to the packet is my memo for the week. We added the dates related to the land development code that the city of Lawrence is hosting. And there is, as mentioned earlier, there's a drug court graduation tomorrow. Also, commissioners, included in your packet is an update from the open space team on our first steps regarding our ARPA funds. They're going to come back to you in a few more, so we get a little closer to budget, but we wanted to tell you kind of the direction we're headed with how we're going to begin to allocate some of the funds. I included in this, we got some great 2023 financial information from Douglas County Public Health. It's a really great informative update, so that's included. And some pages from the quarterly update from the KU Innovation Park that I thought commissioners might be interested in related to some of the data at the park. And next week, we have a work session for the Climate Action and Adaptation Plan, which will then be on your agenda for adoption. And we do not meet the 29th. And then on the 5th, we're not going to have a work session, but I do anticipate we will meet that day. And commissioners, that's all I have.
I have to pull my calendar to see there are a couple of affordable housing community meetings. One that it's hosted at the library by the Limestone School, the students of Limestone School. I believe that is tomorrow night. And the other one is a week later, hosted by tenants to homeowners. So I may be at one or the other. I'm not sure if the other commissioners would be at either. I'm struggling to get them fit into my schedule, but it's possible.
I appreciate you bringing that up. It's probably a good idea to have Robin notice tomorrow evening's event. I didn't think that I could make it, but might be able to get there before the end, so just in case. But I will not be here next week.
That the tenants to homeowners event?
It's tenants to homeowners and Limestone School. I think it starts at 5:30 at the library, if I recall right.
If you have an email or a note, if you could forward it to us, we'll get it posted.
Okay, we'll work on that. The tomorrow evening is, yes, 5:30 at the library. And that's the student presentation. All right, anything else, commissioners or Sarah? Okay, with that, we are adjourned. See you all next week.